When my husband looked at me one evening and said, "You act like you've done too much," I felt something inside me go silent. Not broken, just quiet. It was the moment I realized he no longer saw the years I spent holding our home together. I want to tell this story slowly because it took years to reach this point. We were not perfect, but we were a family. We had a small house, a simple life, and dreams that grew as we grew older. When we married, we promised to stand with each other, no matter how hard things became. In those early days, I believed in us completely. I believed in our future, in our strength, and in the love we shared. When he worked long hours, I kept the home running. When money was tight, I stretched every little thing so we could survive. When he felt tired, I held him up with quiet words and warm meals. I never thought of these things as sacrifices. They were simply the things you do for the person you love. But somewhere along the way, the meaning of those things faded from his eyes. It did not happen all at once. It happened slowly, like a small crack in a cup that widens with every drop of water. He started coming home late, not because of work, but because he said he needed space. I didn't ask too many questions at first. I just nodded and smiled, trying to understand. Little things changed. He stopped noticing when I lit the house with soft lamps in the evening. He stopped asking why I looked tired. He stopped listening to the stories of my day. One evening, I placed dinner on the table and said softly, "I waited for you." He replied, without looking at me, "You always wait. It's not a big deal." I remember standing there, holding the chair, wondering when my waiting became something so small in his eyes. Another day, he said, "You act like you carry the whole world alone." I didn't answer. I just looked at him and wondered if he remembered the nights I stayed awake when he was sick. The days I skipped my own dreams so he could chase his. The times I held our home together while he was lost in his own storms. The distance grew, not loud, not sharp, just quiet, steady, heavy. The moment that changed everything came on a rainy afternoon. The air was cold, the house was silent, and the sound of the rain hitting the windows felt like a soft warning I had ignored for too long. He came home earlier than usual. I was in the kitchen, wiping the counter, thinking about the old days when we used to cook together. He walked in and said sharply, "You always remind me of what you've done. Why do you need credit for everything?" I turned slowly, confused. "I never asked for credit. I only wanted you to see me." He sighed, frustrated. "I don't know what you mean. You're just making things complicated." Just making things complicated. The words stayed with me. In that moment, something became very clear. He did not see the long nights. He did not see the meals cooked with a tired back. He did not see the dreams I set aside. He did not see the tears I wiped quietly after he slept. He did not see the woman who stood beside him for years without asking for anything in return. He only saw a wife who wanted credit. I felt my hands tremble slightly, but my voice stayed calm. I am not asking for praise. I am asking for recognition, for kindness, for the honesty to say, "You know how hard I tried." He walked away, leaving the kitchen silent except for the rain. And for the first time in many years, I sat down and let myself feel everything. The days after that moment were quiet, but not empty. I began to understand something I had ignored for too long. Sometimes when you give too much without speaking, people forget that you also need love. Not gifts, not apologies, just love. I did not confront him again. I stopped explaining my pain. I stopped waiting at the door. I stopped placing my worth in his hands. Instead, I began to find small pieces of myself again. I read old letters I had written but never sent. I took slow walks outside the house. I cooked meals because I enjoyed cooking, not because I was waiting for his thanks. He noticed the change, but he didn't know how to ask about it. Some evenings, he would watch me quietly, as if trying to understand the woman he had taken for granted. He tried speaking to me more gently, but the wound inside me was still healing. One night, he said, "You've changed." I replied softly, "I had to. Otherwise, I would disappear." He didn't argue. He just nodded. as if he finally understood something he should have seen long ago. Forgiveness did not come in one day. It came slowly, like sunrise after a long, cold night. I forgave him not because he asked, but because I needed peace in my own heart. And with time, the silence between us softened. Today, I am quieter, calmer, and stronger. I still love him, but I love myself too. I learned that sacrifices are beautiful, but they should never erase the person who makes them. If my story teaches anything, it is this: love should be seen, effort should be valued, and no one should feel invisible in their own home. Sometimes the softest strength is simply choosing not to disappear.